I'm sorry, lad.
Left dirt. Left dirt. Left dirt. Left dirt.
Someday.
Where's I'm sorry.
Someday.
Where's I'm sorry.
Go say it.
Left dirt.
Why you never 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 someday.
Where's I'm sorry. What you going?
Someday.
Where's I'm sorry. What you going?
Someday.
Where's I'm sorry.
Someday.
Where's I'm sorry.
Oh, I think we're live.
You turned your mic on at the last moment.
I mean, you know, it's,
You were like, I was like, what the? It's not even over yet.
it's totally not the DSP moment of things are live.
Oh
Been
my
live all
gosh.
along, huh?
Welcome everyone. This is Darachat. My name is Daramouthe, or Dara. For some people, they say Daramouthe, so I have to do it short, like Dara. But anyway, I am with my wonderful guest, IronCaster, which is just a really good name because it sounds like you're either casting iron or you're casting a spell called iron. So there you go. That's the I am the wizard. Something
Well,
like
I mean, well, that goes into a little bit of the wizard talk we had before the stream. You know,
yeah.
that's it's always like the best stuff though. Like the stuff gets left on the cutting room floor before the show starts. Like the stuff people will never hear about.
That's right, and soon. No, yeah, it's. I mean, you wish you could like do something like that for, like before. I don't know if there is a possibility of doing that, like where you could be live but not be live. I don't know. I think StreamYards may do that. I don't know. Anyway, the point of the matter is that I use Rumble Studios to do this stuff. So, because I started out doing StreamYards, obviously just recording video. Then I did OBS for like the live streaming stuff, and then once Rumble came out with his own thing, like Rumble Studios, I began using that, and it's just been growing from there. So it's. I know there's still there's still some issues, but at the end of the day, it's free. So there you go. you can't argue. Well, I mean, you could argue it's free, but then you'd be a broke person. You know when you're so broke that the moth never comes out of your wallet. That's because you have to pay for the moth. Oh, dang it!
The moth has to let a little moth out.
Little moth out. And it's like, hey guys, hey, moth, come here, little cough. There you go. But so where Where did you come up with the name IronCaster? Because that's just such a
So it had actually the name had come from a Pathfinder game, or just for the sake of simplicity, Dungeons and Dragons.
uh
I had this character who was a gunslinger, and
mm,
I was kind of thinking like, well, a lot of names tend to come from the professions they had, Smith, Baker, Miller,
mm.
etc. And I was thinking, all right, well, what can I do that kind of goes in line with that? And I'm like, well, he's got guns, and the family's gonna be making guns, whatever. So maybe they're casting iron. Like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds. I mean, of course, there are already people that have the last name Miller, so it's not kind of like, oh, he's a Miller. Miller. I don't think this is gonna work out very well.
I mean, it sounded good enough, and I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
That like a decade later, I'm still kind of using it for like gamer tags and all that.
Yeah, my name was so you know how you well, it's a two part. So the first part is, you know how you can go to places like I used to play RuneScape, old RuneScape back then. I mean, it's still around, but I still used to play old RuneScape. Well, you couldn't really have. I tried to make up a name, or whatever, but you had to have like a number after it because someone else already brought it on. So it's like, this is ridiculous. And then I played around with the word, which I bet you can't figure out which one that is, since you know the pronunciation of this word. Well, what word? Oh, it's an alcoholic drink. I'll give you a hint. That's the hint. I'll just all right. It's vermouth. And
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So
So yeah, that's one of those I never really messed with. For me, it was mostly just maybe a little bit of wine here or there. The rum is
oh
a big go-to.
so you're a special wizard. Oh, okay, I see how it goes. So
You see, we do a shot of Fireball, then we cast Fireball.
that's too.
That's part of my
That is,
spell components.
no wonder that's where the drink comes from, because wizards are playing around. No, so you know how there's some words you think as a kid that you made up, but definitely didn't make up. So vermouth was one I was just playing around with because I liked the sounding of the word vermouth, and also didn't obey, like the regular stuff, like e, having an e at the end is silent and stuff, but it still had the mooth sound in it, vermouth. And so I played around with it, and I came up with the first iteration, which is the fan account you've talked to. That's the first iteration, and then Daramouthe was sort of the secondary part of that. And I was just like, oh, I'll just do that. And also, again, going back to making the account name and stuff, I can make an account with this name and no numbers after it. So that's what I was aiming for, is a name with no numbers after it. So yeah, it sounds a bit pedantic, but it is what it is, because like I don't want to keep having to put numbers after my name, like noodle soup 5500 or whatever it is. Like that is just no.
Well, the other 1,400 were already taken, so I was going down. You won't believe how many hours it took me to get that name.
Oh, IronCaster, really?
Oh no, I mean the noodle 1,500.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I just was tired of trying to like get numbers and stuff, because I made another one, but it was like there was already like other people, and I was like, oh please, please. So, but I could just be silly and make something up, because I've made up names for things. I've done silly stuff. It's just like the title for the thumbnail. I was just like, it kind of is in the name, so let's just do it that way. Just silly stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it kind of works. But that's the thing that I always think about. It's just this idea that what happens in like 50 years when you have new people coming online, they have to come up with their names, and it's like we've had 50 years of people just throwing nonsense at the wall for names that you're just gonna get to the point where I have to just face roll across the keyboard to get a name, and it'll be taken.
25. It's like, dang it, it's taken.
What if I? Oh, I hit all the keys and everything went crazy. Don't do that, folks.
Hey, Cool Frog. It'd be funny if you just like you went blindfold, right? You streamed yourself going blind. Okay, guys, I'm going to make a name. What does it say, guys? It's already taken. God dang it! Not even by random chance. But no, I was really grateful that the name I created worked, and I've had it ever since. So I haven't really use it for anything else. But yeah, it's kind of fun. We can make your own stuff up, because I know for like D&D, right, that you can just it's like throwing yourself into the wind. It's like, oh, where should we go today? That sort of thing.
Well, the thing I always find the most fun with D&D is to just blatantly steal everything, and then what you do is you reskin it and change it just enough to where people don't know what you're ripping off. So I get together with the boys to like play some Star Wars, and I'll come up and like, all right, guys, so you're on Tatooine, and this old Jedi has come up to you, and he has a mission for you that involves you and this little crew of like about a dozen Jawas who have to go and get the stolen treasure from a crate dragon.
Man, already I'm like, next. No. I do like. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Like, anyone who's paying attention would be like, wait a minute, that's the Hobbit.
Oh yeah. I'd have been like, okay, you're on Tatooine, right? It's Tatooine. It's hot. It's hot. It's very hot. Then you see a bunch of ladies washing a car in the beginning.
All right, I like where this is going. Let me get the dice out. I roll charisma. 17.
I was gonna say 15, but all right. You can walk up to them and you speak to them and you say what? The ladies just look at you and stare and say, "This ain't no Jedi. He's a fool." You've just lost 10% of your charisma. Too bad. Every time.
If I had a nickel for every time that story played out.
Then an old Jedi comes up behind you and says, "Dang, fool, you let that one right off." Oh, you got people. You got the peoples.
Family stuff always comes up.
I
can deal with it a little bit.
I was like, and then I was like, yeah, I'm kind of busy here. You kind of see, just hold on. All right. Anyway.
And then the old Jedi comes up and he says, I can take you off the Coruscant if you really want.
Would you like to go on a dune buggy? Wait, is this Star Wars or is this something else? And he does like
don't worry about that. This is a big sand planet. There's a billion of them.
Oh yeah, but that's the
There's
same
lots
thing.
of worms.
That's the same thing with like Dune, though, right? Because Dune is a huge sand planet.
Well,
sort of thing.
I mean, that does come from because Dune had been out for about a good 10-15 years, about a good 10 years or so before Star Wars.
Really?
And it was incredibly popular in its time too. So it's fair to say that there was probably some inadvertent crossover there. In fact, I think Dune has probably been mentioned once or twice before, probably by George.
Interesting. Now, what did you see the two that came out? Of the new ones to Dune? What'd you think?
Yeah. So before the movies came out, they were always kind of like the top of my list, like movies I'm most looking forward to for the year.
Right.
And I've read the books, so I'm kind of coming up to it from that perspective. Is that like, I understand that some things are gonna have to be changed because that's the nature of adaptation. I did really like seeing, for example, with the second one, Paul finally getting to be this Messiah figure where he's basically he's stepping to be that Messiah, and so you have all these people who are seeing like the prophecy that they've believed in. Their faith is being fulfilled right before their eyes. There was some great stuff there with that I really liked. But then there was the Zendaya stuff.
Yep, I heard that. I was like, I'd never read the books. I only remember seeing bits and pieces of like the what was it, the 80s movie, with Patrick Stewart and all of them, which was like weird to me because it was like I'm seeing blue eyes, I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm like, I don't get any of this.
And that was the way I was at first. Like years ago when they used to air it on like the Sci-Fi Channel all the time, like you might be up at like 2 a.m. and for everybody you're still awake. You're like, I'm not tired yet. Let me flip around. Dune. This movie is kind of silly, makes no sense. but I kept going back to it. So I'm like, there's something more to this. I don't quite know yet. Of course, this was before I had known that it was based on a book.
Right.
But there's a lot of curiosity to it. Like, as off as he is from, for example, the original novel, like the Baron Harkonnen is a delight. My plan.
Yeah, because again, I'm coming at from an angle. I've never read the book. I didn't I did enjoy him, but the Zendaya part was sort of just like it felt like it was like you were it was playing this huge opposite that didn't make sense. And of course there's other things, of course, again, I'm coming this from a movie angle. I've never read the books before. I barely remember the 80s movie, so there's not going to be much carryover. But I did like that, of course, was it Chris Nolan? He's direct. Was it the first one? Was it both, or he just did one of them that he directed?
I think he did do I don't think it was Nolan. It was
because he's involved somehow. I remember him being involved in the first one somehow.
Now I gotta look this up. Oh, Denis Villeneuve, so it's French.
Yeah, so he's probably been involved for both movies. But I just remember Chris. They kept talking like Chris Nolan was involved. He's probably a producer or something. But I do know Hans Zimmer is the musician, which is a connection to Chris Nolan, because Hans Zimmer, man, that guy is just, boy, he is good where it counts. And of course, you hear his music throughout, and it's very easterny, deserty sort of sounding.
Like, just real quick from a cursory glance over, like, I don't think Nolan's really attached in any way at all to Dune.
Oh, I don't remember why that was the case. Then I do know that Hans Zimmer is the music director for all that stuff. So maybe that's the connection. But yeah, it's just you had a lot of big names. Obviously, you had Skarsgård. Obviously, you had Momoa. Roland.
That was I'm mixed on that casting.
What was Momoa's character again? Because I don't
okay, so he's supposed to be playing Duncan Idaho, who is this like house guard to the Atreides. And the reason why I have issue with it, like if this was just a one-off, I wouldn't have a problem, but that character has more relevance in sequels.
Interesting.
Like the character died. Died, but we're not done with his character. So we'll see Momoa come back, and it's just a matter of, well, he's gonna have to have a little bit of a range of character. So just being Aquaman, ain't gonna quite do it.
Just imagine with one of those gun pistols, whatever. He's on a sandy dune. He's like, yeah. I was like, what the heck is this? Where's the water, Sandman? I mean, Aquaman. Gosh,
he's gonna suddenly burst into the Harkonnen planet with all the albinos. Yeah, and he's like, man, I got a wicked tan. And he's albino.
Oh yeah! Oh goodness, that'd be the worst. Albino in the sunlight. Goodness, almost fry you to death.
Well, that was one of the neat things with it, though, is that because they were kind of playing this idea that because it's effectively a different environment altogether, it's not a traditional sun like what we have. So the radiation, in theory, is going to be a little bit different. So you could, in theory, have people just turning paler and paler from exposure to that sun. Interesting.
That is interesting, because you usually think they go darker because, again, we go darker if we stay in the sun too long. Or,
but again, it's not our sun.
Yeah, that's
black
true.
Sun.
A black sun. I thought the black sun was the one planet with the Skarsgård character.
I mean, that is the star of their planet.
Okay.
So that's why they're all like ghostly pale.
Oh, so those were the ones you're talking about? Because I thought you were still talking about the desert planet.
Oh no. It's again, it's like they all come from somewhere, and I thought that was a good little touch, because it's not like every other piece of fantasy sci-fi media where we have to have the wide array of ethnicities on display.
Yep, and then not all wide range of ethnicities die. So it's like all that stuff.
It's like, well, we gotta make this little like Viking village stand out from this British town that they're gonna go raid. Like, what do we do? I know, let's make sure we check all our boxes. We gotta have our black guy. We gotta have the Asian. Like these are all absolutely Vikings.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, I went to go see the movie The Northman. Right, that's with another Skarsgård. That's Alex Skarsgård, and that movie was pretty good. But you just saw like there's one point. Did you see that movie, The Northman?
I have not.
Okay, well, there's one point where Alex Skarsgård plays a berserker, is what they're called, and they go and raid a village. Now, of course, this is like back in ye old days. There's not much armor, all this stuff. But they were unforgiving. They put there's one part where they put all the kids into a hut and they burn down the hut. They take some women with them. There's a lot of nastiness that went back on in the day, and you think you have a rough now.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, like, there's a reason why people were afraid of Vikings. Like, there's a reason why, like, castles were built. And it was because Vikings.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of the main reasons they got to build these fortifications to help, keep their people protected and keep the Vikings at bay.
Yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't be alive anymore. Jeez. So, but yeah, I saw that one. But then, of course, there's like the gaming faction. Like, I don't know if you game or not, but there's like the whole God of War. That was pretty interesting with the doing Norse mythology. Now you have an issue with that?
I'm just mixed on the idea that he's delving into other mythologies, because it's largely Greek, and Kratos has killed all the gods he can in the Greek mythos, so it's off to go fight some Vikings now.
Well, more than that, but no, he didn't kill all for this one, but it because again, people already after the second one was done, which was Ragnarok, right? Yep. People already talking about like, what's the next thing going to be? What's the next thing? It's like, why would you want there to be the next thing? It's the God of War is done because he's already gone on this journey of first was the first three. I think it was three, right? The first three games.
Yep, there were three. Then there was a couple little spin-off games as well, like on like the PSP. Like Change Olympus was one of those, and I don't know. It's one of these things that always kind of bothers me is just sort of this idea that we can never let anything rest.
Right.
I mean, you look at we're going to be seeing Tony Stark getting revived probably in no time with. Well, actually, that kind of goes against my argument, but we're no doubt going to see Tony Stark's going to be coming back. We're going to see at some point Steve Rogers come back. We're going to see all these characters come back.
Mm-hmm. It's for Marvel. It's an act of desperation because it's a money thing, right? Like they've lost so much money with the other Marvel stuff that it seems like it's an act of desperation.
Well, and the thing is, they really didn't have to do that. Like, frankly, those characters they really should have and could have kept going.
Well, I think
it's what they need to do. They need to just get over it and accept the fact we're gonna have to recast.
Yeah, because I think part of the point was that some of their contracts were drying up, like they were ending. And so they just, once their contract was done, they wanted to be done, which is understandable because I think it was, I can't remember when Stan Lee died, but I think after a certain point, they, because Robbie Downey Jr. didn't want to keep being typecast. You know, of course, you have Chris Evans. He was also in Marvel before with the Fantastic Four,
Fantastic Four.
but he became something else with Captain America, and he was a great Captain America, right? Like he's been in other movies, but when he became Captain America, you saw Steve Rogers, and of course the other characters came in too. You know, you have Potts, you have Natasha, Black Widow, you have War Machine, but that sort of was a weird thing in itself because Terrence, and then you know I can't remember the other guy's name.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff, but it's like you were saying, you didn't have to end it as giving up his life, or he could have just been, you know, he could have lost an arm, he could have done something, but you didn't have to kill him off because again, it's like when so there are people who read the comic version of the Infinity War on YouTube, and I sat through one of them doing it, and I was like, that is just fantastical because there's a pre-story of not I was gonna say Ganon, but not Ganon. It's
Thanos.
Thanos, way off the base. But Thanos is going off. There's a separate story where Thanos is going off and searching for the stones, and obviously the stones are powerful in their own right. But there's a huge difference between the comic and the movie. In the comic, no one gets affected that badly like they do in the movie, which for me didn't make sense because like anyone could use it. You know, you had Thanos use it. You had his daughter. What was his daughter's name?
Nebula.
Nebula. You had Nebula use it. I think you had, and then you had Warlock use it at the end point.
Another character they completely messed up.
Yeah, they did. But after seeing all that done through the comics, I'm like, but then again, the reason of why he did it was so changed off the record. It's like, because when you saw the first Avengers, right, towards the end, right, you saw the first Avengers towards the end, you had that little line where it says they like to court death, and then you see him turn and do that smile, and I was like, oh, so that's a nod that this is going to be for Mr. Steph, because that's why he does it. He does it for Mr. Steph.
And the thing with that was, going into it, I thought they were going to take advantage of the fact that they had brought in Hel from Thor.
Oh, Kate Blanchett?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if you want to put things together, like you could easily have her, because she's like supposed to be the Norse goddess of death, of the underworld, and kind of have her be that death stand-in. Like,
yeah,
we could do something kind of there with that to play this up.
Yeah, but you have the look of her different though, right? Because that's the
yeah. Well, basically, Marvel's Death.
Yes.
Basically looked like Raven from the Teen Titans.
Sort of, because sometimes she would appear as a skull and bones.
She could change how she appeared.
Yeah, skull and bones. But then the thing, you have the duality right there too, right? Because there was a Thanos portion and a Deadpool portion. Because that's
that then came much later. But yeah.
But it, again, going back to the comic book, which encompasses the whole thing of like, and there's different parts, right? Like you had like the story of like you have like the West Coast was it the West Coast Avengers, and then all this other stuff. So there's a lot of bits and pieces you probably wouldn't be able to do, but just keeping the core, right? And it was like, yeah.
Well, I'm not so like married to the comics to say that you have to do it this way exactly.
Right.
Again, I'm totally fine with the fact that changes will have to be made. Sometimes we'll get some good stuff, sometimes we won't. But they at least did look at. But the idea, in theory, would be that, hey, someone at least looked at the comics to consider it.
Yeah.
Unlike, of course, all the D+ writers.
Yeah.
Which we've heard all of them say, no, we were told don't read it, don't look at it.
Yeah, because again, for me, it changes Thanos' stance of why he's doing it to something different. He's looking for balance. It wasn't about balance in the comics.
It was because he was a simp.
Well, yeah, that too, but he was a strong simp. He could kill you simp, that sort of thing. And not only that, but you had a bunch of different of the from within Marvel, like Silver Surfer was involved. You had Nebula involved. You had so many other people involved to take down. And of course, the only thing I think the only way it got close enough was through the animation, the Avengers Mightiest Heroes. I think they did a
So good.
yeah. And you had okay, of course you had someone who tried to sound like Robert Downey Jr. being Stark, and you can't see it. You can't see it any other way without Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man because he played it. He
And-
played it
and-
well.
And that's the unfortunate thing is that it's become so iconic that he's basically he set the standard. Is that
Yes.
and that's sort of the case with every one of these characters. I mean, we're nerds. That's what we do. We're gonna sit here and look at it and say, well, yeah, sure. Steve Rogers may have been Captain America, but how does he compare to like the TV series Captain Steve Rogers? You know, those '90s made for TV movies.
Oh yeah, I've never saw them. I think the only thing I remember was
They
the
are-
Flash. The Flash was in the '90s, like a TV show or whatever. That's because my parents were alive for the Lou Ferrigno Hulk sort of thing. But no,
There's another way you can compare.
huh?
There's another way you could compare. How did what's his name in the movies do compared to all the Lou Ferrigno and Steve what was it Bill Bixby?
Well, the thing of it is, there's been a few other Hulk movies before the Mark Ruffalo one. And of course, you have the TV series. But going back to the Infinity War stuff, it was just a lot of it just coming, seeing those other people talk about the comic. It felt like a bit of a letdown because again, you're changing the reason why you're not able to use as many because I think at the time they didn't have the copyright for Silver Surfer and all that other stuff because that's another thing too. But it's like it feels like, and again, the having Iron Man die and all this other stuff, it felt like they were putting limits on something that the world of Marvel, there are limits, but they also make it limitless in a sense.
So, I mean, the thing is, like they for all things considered, they did a pretty good job of using those stories to tell their own.
Mhm.
To not only that, but tell a compelling story that audiences in general can enjoy.
Yeah.
And comic fans are always going to say, well, they didn't do it like this in the comics. They complain about this or that. Like this isn't the right costume he should have been wearing.
Yeah.
That stuff's inevitable. It's just about tell a good story.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's the most important part.
Yeah, and they in essence they did. I mean, it was a two-parter, sure, but they did end up telling a good story because I think it was that the end game had engrossed over $1 billion, and I was there on the day that it came out. Sorry.
Yep. Same.
I was there on the day it came out, and when the movie was over and they had that ending, they had the actors sign their name underneath the characters played, the roar was so loud that it was like an ovation that went on for minutes. And I was just like, they really did it this time.
Those are some of the best reasons to go to the movies. And it's the thing is we genuinely don't get those big moments like that often. Like basically I can think of, as far as movies go, probably the two best movies for that audience reaction. It's going to be that Endgame. It's going to be Endgame. Well, the Infinity War and Endgame, I'll count as one because, I mean, it's basically the same story, just cut out over across two movies where
right.
the audience reacting to like characters turning into dust and fading away. Like the tangible reaction as some people's favorite characters were turning to dust and seemingly dying right before their eyes. No, as people shouted out in the theater. And the other one is, of course, like the original, like Star Wars. Like those are your two big movies that have that sort of reaction.
I wasn't too hard for the Star Wars one because I saw the prequels. Don't get me wrong, like 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about like the OG, like back in '77.
Oh,
I wasn't
okay.
alive then, but it's one of those things I've talked about often enough that
Mm.
it's easy enough to cite.
Well, there's only been a few. There's been very few movies I've ever been at where there's been sort of reaction that the whole crowd gets. One was, I think, the Godzilla one, Godzilla Minus Zero. That one had a big thing. And then, of course, Sound of Freedom was another one I was at where the impact was the whole of the theater. And it wasn't like standing ovation sort of thing, but there was a sense of like it got you in some places where it affected everyone in there. But yeah, but for that time period when Endgame was coming out, when it had come out, I think it was like the day one when it had come out, and I had to wait till like later in the day because I work in the morning afternoon. It was, you knew when it came to this point that was going to be it. Of course, they continued it on after, and they keep failing at a certain point. But you knew when it came to this point, after all you're hearing about like the actors are going to go because they're done with the contract and this and that, whatever, all of it compiles up to make it this most important moment in Marvel cinema, right? Because I don't know if Stan Lee appeared in any more Marvel movies after Endgame. Because
No, well, by that point he had passed away, so it was just whatever they had already kind of in the can and had recorded.
Yeah, so that also has another significant important too. And of course, you had the thing where the lead-in from what was it, Infinity War, where you have the whole thing from Doctor Strange telling about that one instance. And then you have that. So there's a whole lot of things swirling around Endgame, even before it comes out, of like, this is it. This is the movie where this may be the end of it. And of course, Marvel screwed that pooch pretty well. But it just, everything culminated, making this movie like the last of the last sort of thing. And it paid out well. It really did. But yeah, there you can say like for the comic, because I'm not a comic person. Like the only comic I've ever fully had in my hands was a Sonic comic from long ago.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Like those were big for a long time.
Yeah. Well, and it's mostly just been manga for me at a certain point, but now I haven't even read very much of manga, so is that too.
So what series have been your go-tos?
Well, I've got some, and I'll show you. Give me a second. Well, I'll show you ones I own, because anything. Oh, hey,
Pops.
Nice to see you, sir. Thank you so much.
Well, I mean, you can just kind of tell me a couple of them, so you don't have to go running off just to.
I already got it. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
So there's this one. Is this
Spice and Wolf? I've heard a lot of people praise. This is a highly praised one. It's one I've never gotten around to yet.
So this is based off a light novel. This is the manga. This is based off a light novel. Now the light novel got turned into an anime, which early 2000s, and then of course there's the manga version, which is this, and now it's on a remake of the animation. And that's going on right now. So, but yeah, Spice and Wolf is pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's got it's a world building thing, but it's on a more economic level, right? Like you learn about the economy. There's no magic, whatever. I mean, the other magic is Hollow, right here. Yep. Not in the magic sense, but you get what idea. Another one is this one. This is, now I'll explain the mangaka in a bit, but this one right here is called The World's Finest Assassin.
Okay.
Now the thing of it is, though, is that this I don't know if you can see that name right there or not. Rui Sapio. Yes, that is the creator of many other manga, but he's also the creator of Redo of Healer.
Okay, that's another one I haven't gotten to yet.
Redo of Healer. If you're not into anything ecchi or what's considered ecchi, I would skip it. I would just skip it, because the main characters.
I'm not against the ecchi. Shit, I want to watch it through all of what was it, gushing about magical girls.
Oh dear goodness. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard about it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's um the assassin one is pretty good. It does have some edgy stuff, but it's more assassin, very good in his world, dies and all this other stuff. But yes, Redo of Healer is a series that's more it was more on the basis of the mangaka who was writing a story because he just wanted to make some money, and it's just because he picked a genre and went for it. So the animation itself is pretty what's the term to use? Horny bait? We'll just go with that.
Oh,
Yeah. So it can get pretty hard. Another one is this one,
ew.
Mushoku Tensei. So this is the
that-
manga version.
Oh, yeah. I'm in the middle of watching this right now.
So there's the anime, right? So this started out as a web novel.
Right.
Novel, got turned into a light novel. I think the animation came out, and then they started doing the manga version. Now, people complain about the manga version, but I'm not a light novel person. If I wanted a light novel, I just go to the library and read any book. All right, I read a manga for its
You want the art.
insides. Yeah, the artwork and all stuff. Because I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the artwork by the person who does the art stuff is pretty good, and of course they still talk to the mangaka, try to get direction, because this stuff doesn't go through unless the mangaka approves of it, right? So that's three. There's also stuff by Ken Akamatsu. First was his book Love Hina that I read. I don't have any of his stuff from there. Love Hina, and then he did another.
I think I've got the entire run of that one.
Oh, that one. You want to talk about etchy there. But of course, the
and then
main
he also
character gets
did-
beat up.
And then he also went and did Negima.
Yes, Negima Magister Magi. Now, that one, I watched the anime first of. And of course, the dub had like, is it Chris Ayres? Chris Ayres does the voice, and he's the brother of Greg Ayres, who did the voice of Frieza. He did the voice of Frieza.
Oh.
Yes, that was Greg Ayres. So Chris Ayres does the voice of, and this is like back early 2000s, but Chris Ayres does the voice of Negi. And of course, again, the creation of what Japan can do, mangakas, all this stuff. Like, have you ever seen Food Wars, right? Food Wars is another good one because of the food, but it does get very edgy. I haven't read the manga, but the anime can get pretty edgy too. But the thing of it is that they have more creative freedom than we do, because we get all puritanical with all the stuff we have over here. That's the issue.
Well, I would say enjoy it while it lasts, because there's that story that just came out that apparently BlackRock is looking to invest a lot in
Blackstone.
manga.
It's Black. One, the company's named Blackstone. Two, there's conflicting information, so I can't really do. Is it or is it not? It is a sense of like an American company buying into, sure, but the thing of it is all take first info is taken on emotional reaction. And that's the trouble that gets people into, because they're not looking deeper into, okay, so what is being bought? What's the name of the company? What about, because there's information out like the guy who owns Blackstone is a Trump supporter. So you have that there. So there's a whole lot of different information out there, and people need to calm down first and go research. Because it's Blackstone, not BlackRock.
Yeah, and I see it. There's even an article on my anime list.
Yeah. So the thing of it is, though, is that first off, before you make any judgment whatsoever, research. Look at the company. Look at the details of what's going on. Right now, it's just first reaction. Everyone reacts on an emotional level, and information gets confused.
Well, the thing is though, there have been increasing pushes overall,
Yes.
from many a source that are trying to get in control, because it's just that frustrating thing of you at the end of the day, you have two types of people who want to be left alone, and people who want to leave nothing alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And part of it is the English side localization. And we've seen many of these stories of Mushoku Tensei. was part of an ordeal by Seven Seas where they didn't word things right or they mistranslated or whatever, and people got upset. And so they had to reprint and send it out again. And Seven Seas has been in the picture frame of having that happen a lot. Maybe not a ton, but it's been in the frame of when those instances happen. Again, the translating side and the English side, there has been issues, and I think with the whole thing that came out with the AI stuff a long time ago,
Yep,
that may change the tides. But Japan is not above making more money.
so and the thing is, I want these things to stay like they are. I'm enjoying them for what they are. Like, I don't want to see outside values put into these series for the sake of outsiders. That's why I'm liking Tokusatsu like I am. Which is, by the way, if you've not watched any of that, absolutely, because like, look, we're not getting all right. So Tokusatsu, just to lay the foundation.
Yes.
The ground foundation.
Right.
It's all your special effects, like superhero shows. So what we get adapted into Power Rangers in Japan is Super Sentai.
Yes, Super Sentai.
But that's where but then you were also talking Ultraman, Kamen Rider, some of the Godzilla stuff, like Metal Heroes. There's all these other series out there that are just ongoing, and it's always just so fascinating to watch because we're lucky to get like 8 episodes of a Marvel show, but then I turn around, I watch Kamen Rider, and frick, they can put out 50 episodes in a year.
Well, you just think about it this way: One Piece, over 1,000 episodes, and you've got you've got probably Naruto in the same boat. You've got actually, you know what? There's one too. It's called Conan, the Great Detective.
Yep,
that one's got thousands of episodes out too. But it's just like I'm still surprised even any of those things are still on. But I think One Piece will be ending in a few years. I think that's what the mangaka said.
So Oda has One Piece is one of those ones I'm a big bit of a fan of.
Right.
He's basically said he's sort of in the last arc, but however long this takes, we really don't know, because I mean, he can take an arc and have little storylines with it, that little chapters.
Yeah.
Like all like the first what we had the first 50 episodes was an entire saga in and of itself, where we had 3 or 4 different islands visited with completely separate storylines. It's possible that while we're in the final saga, that could easily be another 100 episodes.
Yeah, it's so we'll see how that goes. But I do know My Hero Academia is ending soon, the manga part of it. We'll see how long they keep. Well, you've got something like Demon Slayer, right? Demon Slayer has been ended for years, and they're trying to take that thing as long as possible. But the animation for it is astounding.
Well, I mean, it's like Attack on Titan. I'm pretty sure to this day they're still putting out the final season, the final season, the second half, part 12.
Yeah,
we're still getting it.
Yeah, and it's crazy, but no, but yeah, there's there's a lot of things. I'm gonna hold on. I gotta use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. So don't fret. Hold on, guys.
And then I was here, and boy, oh boy, this feels oddly familiar. Like I would have happened if I was on my show. Well, folks, I don't really know what to say because I don't have much controls. But guys, it is the 4th of July. It's effectively the 4th of July weekend. It's a nice 4-day weekend. I'm feeling nice and relaxed. I'm ready to get into it. Alpha has raided the stream. Hello, Alpha Zero Omega. I am not your host, but I am left in charge. Apparently, he made the mistake of trusting me, so I can't wait to abuse this power. No, we're not going to do that because we're going to be a good little boy. Maybe I shouldn't say that. And at the end of the day, I want to talk about good things. Yeah, it's kind of inevitable to go back and complain about some of the older stuff and complain about some of the mainstream stuff, and it's sort of the whipping boy that's there to beat on. But at the end of the day, let's kind of lean more towards finding some good things to talk about.
Thanks, Alpha. Sorry about that. You know, when you get into a conversation and your bladder says, "Help me," like I gotta go. But yeah, sorry about that. But yeah,
Very
it's just Oh, okay. I didn't finish. So I have two more and manga. Sorry, I had two more manga to show off. So these are a bit on the more. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. So these two are a bit more etchy. Now, this one I'll show, and then I'll give a bit of a backstory on it because there is one for this. So the next one I have is called The Elder Sister-like One by Ida Pochi. Right.
Okay.
It's a female mangaka. So the story behind this is that this is the serialization, but it was actually an R18 doujin.
The thing is, like, I know there's a big basically a little big mini industry of with doujins like Comic-Con and
Comic-Con,
a lot of
yes.
those, yeah.
Comic-Con. But this was and it can be R18 doujins are either a test run for building up your artwork to practice on stuff, or it's self-satisfaction and all that other stuff. So that's what R18 stands for. But anyway, this started as an R18 doujin, and then after a certain point, she got it serialized. Now I think there was another R18 doujin that got serialized as a manga as well, but I can't remember the name. But the funny thing is Pochi-san has also done the artwork for Rhine of Hololive, and then she's also a VTuber herself.
Oh,
and, yeah, I will give you 1 second. I think I can find her.
And that's one of the kind of fascinating things we see throughout this, because you have people outside of Japan who are trying to impose and are trying to shame it with their values onto the way this entire industry is in another country on the other side of the world. And it's like, no, this has nothing to do with you. This is this little niche audience. Like, yeah, this famous manga artist who does this really popular series might have started out doing lewd art, but that's the way that it is over there. That's how they a lot of times start.
So this is her. This is Ida Pochi. She is a she's a VTuber, but she's Pochi Goya, but she's also done the illustration for Ryan, who's from Hololive. But yes, this is her. She's been doing it for quite some time. But yes, it started out as R18. I got serialized. So yeah, the actual name of it is Ane Mono Naru, which is the Japanese name. It's just the Romaji. So yeah, I once I found out it was serialized, okay, because it is very heavy and etchy sometimes, but it has a story. It has sort of like a Cthulhu like story to it, Cthulhu likeness.
Okay.
And this one is this one is just etchy outright, but so this one is called Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Stone. And I saw the animation for it first, but then I noticed there was a manga for it, and it's the gentleman, he's in love with a fair maiden, but she's very wholesome and clean. He's a warrior, strong, and all this stuff. He's won battles, whatnot, and a lot of monster girls try to come after him for his strength, but in another way. We'll leave it at that. So yeah, it's just funny.
But you know what they're going for.
But I've seen stuff from Clamp, which is an all-female circle, mangaka circle. They've done They've done Cardcaptor Sakura. They've done Rare Earth. They've done XXX Holic, and,
Yep.
and so many other ones. And they tell a great story per se. I don't know about Cardcaptor Sakura, but they do kind of keep it within their own universe, so to speak. And
Well,
yeah.
if nothing else, they're incredibly popular.
Mhm.
That it's like to where I've heard of them. I haven't watched any of their stuff, but at least I know it's incredibly popular.
Yes, because if you've ever read XXX Holic, it's not what you think. Just because the X is, it's more of based on the fact of addictions, different forms of addictions. That's what the holic part is, and the triple X's are more of like a fill-in, like
Yeah,
alcoholic and all this other stuff. But there's also
alcoholic.
yeah, all the different kinds of addictions to it, and it's really cool when you sort of read this. I had to go to Wikipedia, but it's sort of really cool when you read that. But again, there is so much, whether it be a wholesome like Digimon, or well, maybe not. Digimon had some moments too, but you have stuff like what's a good one? What's a good kid one? Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon, right? You have Pokemon, and you could have something like Berserk, right? So there's a whole wide array, but again, you have this thing where the localizers and all this other stuff, they want to puritanize it because there's a whole lot of things understandable not to agree with, but the thing of it is, there's a freedom there, and it lands in a world that's far away, all this other stuff. And if you dampen people's ability to create in whatever fictional setting they want, you might as well just make all books nonfiction.
Yeah, you wind up with everything being really kind of boilerplate and really tame and safe, and nobody wants that.
No, there's a lot of people that like reading Berserk, especially after Kento Miru is already done and gone. Akira Toriyama, done and gone, but his Dragon Ball still continues. I think for I don't know how long. Yeah, just a lot of stuff.
I mean, they'll have some people coming back to do some more, but we'll see where it goes with that.
You see.
Are you familiar with the website AnyList?
Oh, yeah. Say it again. How do you spell that?
AnyList. ANI list. I can pull it up for you because I think it's a fantastic website for just kind of tracking anime.
The next generation anime platform. I see. No, I've never heard of it. I've heard the my anime list. That was one I've heard of. But what about it? What is about this one?
So this is a really good website for tracking anime, what you're watching. It has a little bit of social media kind of interaction kind of work into it. If you wanna pull up my screen, I can show you.
No, you can share it. There's at the bottom it's all start share screen share, and you click on the tab, and hold on. Oh, there we go.
There we go. I'm like I had already pulled it up.
I was like, ugh.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So this is a great little website that I use for tracking stuff. In fact, a lot of I think of a lot of our kind of friends in sort of this little space, guys like Brandon the Anime Guy, which I don't know if you've had him on yet or not, but you should absolutely reach out and see if you can bring him on to talk some anime.
Well, how do you contact? What way to contact him?
I'll get you in touch with him.
Sure.
In DMs later.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
It's a great little website because you can go and we'll pull up anime. Well, that's what we're doing, but you can break it down by the year. So, what was out for what's up with the summer season right now, and you can go through and see all the big popular ones are, and then there's the Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Then we have series like Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest. And it's just a fun little website to have to track. For example, as I pull my profile up,
what is that? The little black thing?
Oh, that. Oh, let me go back. This here?
Yeah, what is that?
That seems to be like a calendar, so you can kind of mark off so you see just how active you are.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it says activity history up there. Oh, okay.
Yes,
that's pretty interesting.
Now, sometimes it's kind of fun to see, like, oh, I was pretty on top of tracking a lot of stuff, and I didn't necessarily, you know, I had some little gaps here or there that was just to be expected. But
Yeah.
you know, the ways you can kind of track things down, like, hey, just Go Nagai, which is one of my absolute favorite mangakas.
Oh, really? What manga?
Artist. Well, let's see. So, for example, as we could also pull up his profile.
Oh,
But
Devilman. Okay.
Yep,
Oh,
he's
Devil.
later this week we have Grandizer U coming out.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to look. I gotta look at my screen.
Cutie Honey, Mazinger.
Mhm.
Yes, Devilman, of course.
Devilman is the only one I recognize out of all that, though.
The thing is, Go Nagai as a creator was really prolific with a lot of stuff that he wound up creating that wound up leading to a lot of later inspiration.
Right.
Like, I can't recommend his stuff enough.
Yeah, because there's a lot of again when I
manga. Oh wow, we keep going. We have way more.
Yeah.
He created Devilman. Cutie Honey basically predated all the magical girls and sort of set the stage for all that.
Oh yeah, well, because then you had Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is another magical girl. And the funny thing is, though, is that the creator of Yu Yu Hakusho, right,
Mm-hmm.
and then the creator of Sailor Moon, they're both married to each other.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He also went and did what, Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, he did. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, the only one I recognize is because these are a lot older. These are 80s to probably 90s anime.
Like
70s. Because the farthest one I've ever watched, I've gone back to is, of course, Speed Racer, right? You know, Speed Racer was probably my first anime, besides Cardcaptor Sakura, because that was more, trans dubbed stuff. But then, trying to go through and research stuff, I'm looking at like Osamu Tezuka, right? Never heard of him before, whatever, but he is considered basically the title they gave him, the god of manga. And his stuff like Astro Boy or Atom Boy, obviously, and so many other stuff. Because there's a website, there is a website that you can go visit. That's the museum and all this other stuff. But when you start researching through these older people, right? Because there's a boxing one, I believe, that is still going.
Hajime no Ippo.
I think that may be it. I'm not too sure. But yeah, there's just a lot of on the research side, and you begin to see all these connectory stuff where back in the day, at least where Osamu Tezuka is at, you start seeing this progression, like, because this is like after the war, right? Like, this is after the war. You see this progression of all these things, and it's really interesting how people were inspired by Osamu, and then people were inspired by the people who inspired by Osamu, and all this lineage of things, or worked with Osamu Tezuka, and you had all these different stuff and whatnot. And it's just great to see sort of like this map of different people working with different people and being like, what's the one? Urusei. Yeah, Urusei. You got Ranma. You've got all these different ones that were popular back in the day. Urusei
Yatsura.
Yeah, Urusei. Rumiko Takahashi. Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, that lady is still going, right? That lady is still going to some degree.
She's a workaholic.
Inuyasha. Oh, she did Inuyasha. Okay, so she's Inuyasha. Oh, she does Ranma too. Okay, I thought that was somebody separate. But before we go any further, it's the top of the hour, and what I do at the top of the hour is I set aside for us to promote ourselves. So your stuff is in the description below, but if you want to flash and do all this other stuff to promote yourself, the floor is yours.
All right. So you can find me all over the internet. For example, coming up on Friday night, I'll be on with Mr. 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser for Cloudy's Comic Shop, where we, surprise, talk comic books.
Yeah.
Which, of course, we've gone and named after our late great friend Clobbern Times, who's tragically no longer with us.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah. But
Of course, Saturdays I am on with T-shirt Historian, who, by the way, just hit 1,000 subs himself on YouTube. So congrats to him.
Mhm.
Where we do a show called The Week in Geek, where we are covering just all the news from around the world, from the great geekdom. So, but typically we wind up inevitably having to talk Wizards of the Coast because they sure love to stick their foot into it each and every single week, which has happened so much over the last year and a half, 2 years, that it's become part of me talking about it.
Yeah. Well,
I do a show on Monday nights called the Mech Pit Chat, where I talk about all this cool big robot stuff. So a chance to talk about Kamen Rider and the fact that there's the new Rider just got revealed. Hey, the new Ultraman movie that premiered on Netflix. We'll talk about that. Is there something going on with Transformers? What about Iron Man? All just a lot of fun stuff of really just I'm just whatever's kind of fun to talk about is what I want to get into.
Great. Yeah. I mean, obviously, why would you talk about it if it's not fun to talk about? It's sort of like watching those content creators. Just in a little bit, it's sort of like watching those content creators talk about the news of the day, and it's just like they're only talking about it because it's part of their deal, monetization, all that stuff. It's whatever, and we'll get into that after. But anyway, and again, his stuff.
I mean, you don't want to talk about how bad the latest episode of Star Wars was?
After promoting stuff. But his stuff is in the description below. I did put in all the links he gave me. So if you guys want to find him, go to those places. He's as you see, he's a really cool dude. But anyway, guys, mouse. But anyway, guys, so I stream to both YouTube and Rumble at Daramouthe. Yes, I stream to 2 different places. I also have a Discord at Daramouthe, but that's mostly just for DMing. I have a fan account on Twitter X, and I'll explain that in a bit, at Daramouthe, and I also have a email at Crazer6. Look, guys, I do this thing, and I've had around 60 different people on. Around 60 different people within a span of 3 to 4 months. Sorry. And I'm wanting to do more. Wanting to share with more people coming on or whatever. So if you feel like you'd like to come on, and look, I'm not here for debates. I'm not here for arguments. We can disagree with each other. That's fine. I'm not here for trolls who just want to be negative, whatever. Look, this is a place for us to come together to talk about whatever. Look, we just started out with a mess up, obviously. We started with the mess up at the beginning. And we went through Dune. We've gone through anime and all this stuff. And you see where it goes. You see how this works. It's that simple. It's that easy. If you want to try it yourself, right? Go to the link tree. Find me at those links. We can get started. Or if you don't want to do that at all, whether you're on YouTube or Rumble, leave a comment and we can get started. It's just that simple. Now, this is a 2-parter, so don't go away yet. The second part about this is the thing you hear from YouTubers almost all the time. Share, like, and subscribe. All that stuff.
Smash the like button.
Yeah, smash the like button. So I'm going to give you my reason why I have to do something similar. Okay. So the engagement factor, right? Every content creator asks for help with the engagement factor, but I'll give you my reason. My reason is because it's a bit of a catch-22. If I want to have more different people on, I've got to be seen more, right? It's a whole algorithm play thing. I don't give a rat's behind, but that's your deal. So it helps in being seen because I could ask people to come on and they could overlook me because I don't have the numbers. I don't have this. I don't have that, or whatever. The point of the matter is that by you helping me, whether it's a like, whether it's a follow, whether it's a comment, whether it's sharing the shorts, you can share shorts. It's easier. Shorts or the live stream, it doesn't matter. One of it or all of it helps because at the end of the day, I am looking forward to filling not only July, which I pretty much have filled, but August, September, October, November, December to fill the rest of the year. Because if I can do that, right? And I don't count weekends too much. It's more of weekends are more just in case someone can't do a weekday. I work within other people's schedules, so it's just that easy. But just imagine this, right? I've watched other content creators talk about whatever sphere they're in, entertainment, movies, politics, whatever. And guess what happens? They stay there. They don't go beyond that scope. They just stay. And of course, this will lead into the Star Wars stuff. But for me, right, I do this because I can go just about anywhere. Am I a scientist? Am I going to know all the numbers and stuff? No. But I can have a conversation about it. Am I going to know about all the entertainment stuff and all the movies? No. But I can have a conversation about it. Am I going to know all about manga and anime and all this stuff? Maybe a little, but I can still have a conversation about it. That's why I do this. Because right now, I didn't see very many people doing, or at all, having a conversation beyond the 24-hour news, the politics, the gaming, all this stuff. They're so confined in these spheres, and that's fine if you want to pick a niche. That's fine. That's what you do to get into this thing, the content creation. But for me, it's like I am free to fly anywhere. I am here to break all those spheres, all those niches, and I'm here to say the field is wide open. Come on. So, if you can give a like, share it, follow, leave a comment, one of it, all of it, it doesn't matter. Whether it's on YouTube or Rumble, doesn't matter. Anything helps because I'm looking forward to having many more people on. And yes, people will do the numbers game. I try to stay away from it because I'm not trying to be so egotistical and all that stuff. I am here because I found something that I didn't see people do. And I've been having fun with a whole lot of people, especially with IronCaster here, especially with Kitty Flip City. I had to get that username right. Or Chrissy. Sorry, I'll just say Chrissy because that's her name.
Well, the thing is, it's just kind of fun getting a chance to reach out and talk to new people ultimately. And there's something to that. Like, hey, until you had asked, I hadn't realized like that you were here. So like that's something I could probably stand to do more. I could stand to reach out more and talk with more people. So that's just kind of, you're helping me realize where I might have some sort of blind spot that I hadn't noticed.
Right. Well, and the thing of it is too is like this doesn't have to be your only time. Like I've had people on here for multiple times. The point of the matter is that even if you think the first time like, oh, we've already talked, whatever, and that's it. It's like, no, the conversation can go on ad infinitum. Because there's so much more. We have so much human history that we tend to just focus on what we've been trained to, the 24/7 news, right? Like there's something is important, right? A bombing went off or something like that. We want to know those things. We want to know the thing or some, important safety thing. But at the end of the day, though, talking about the politics stuff, unimportant. Talking about these little things that don't really matter in the long run, they're just there in order to keep the monetization flowing, the followers and stuff flowing, whatever. At the end of the day, though, I'm doing this because I can go just about anywhere. Yes, there are probably other people doing it too. I don't know about them. But for me, it's like, how many content creators do you know that have had a guest on almost the weekdays, just the weekdays during the month? Every weekday during the month. How many? I would say not very much because I've seen a content creator make a stream or episode will stream every day, but content creator having somebody on or doing whatever, because I take the weekends off because I do work a full-time job. So yeah,
same.
But for me, it's just like I didn't see this thing. I didn't see conversations happening. It was more of like, we'll talk about this, we'll talk about that, all this entertainment stuff. And just like I can't stand it when a content creator says, "Oh, Star Wars is dead," and then they'll still talk about it days and days and days and days. Like either it's dead or you're gonna keep talking about it.
Well, Star Wars as we knew it is dead.
No, it's not. People are still talking about it.
Well, no. I mean, the Star Wars of old, like the EU, that's effectively dead. It's now a stagnant thing that now no longer has additional material coming out. That has ended, and that is now, as we're seeing, basically being picked at for plot ideas to try and readapt.
Well, it's a twofold. Right, because you have the people making it, right, the acolyte, all this stuff, and you have the content creators picking at it. So it's a dead horse being beaten by two different people.
Well, there's a difference there, though. The other YouTubers, the content creators, they're picking at the new thing being put out.
Right, but again, there's a whole it's only slightly different. It's only slightly different because they're not creating it. They're picking at what someone else created. There's still money involved, right? They're still doing it. Yeah, maybe they're a fan or whatever, but are they monetized? Are they doing it because they're still a fan, or are they doing it because it's monetized? Because that's the issue I have. Because if you're doing it as a fan, you don't care if you're monetized or not. You'll do it because you're a fan. But if you're monetized, are you doing it as a fan still, or are you doing it as someone who wants to make money off it and just go? So there's the issue right there.
Well, the thing is ultimately that's going to matter. Just sort of that content creator in question. You know, you basically got to watch them, kind of get a feeling for them. Like some people, are there people in it that are just going to sit here and say it's the worst thing ever just for a paycheck? Sure, but at the end of the day, they're not going to go far because it's going to come off as inauthentic. It's going to stink, and people are going to be able to smell it coming. Those types of people will eventually show their face.
Hey, UB. Well, my thing is you have drama farming as well. It's good. UB, thank you for stopping by. You have the drama farming, right? And people love it's like the Big Brother house. It's just like Survivor. It's all these reality TV shows. And drama farming on the social media or whatever is just basically that. It's and you have that sort of thing too. But for me, it's just like when I hear content creators, like Disney, right? Disney is dead. Star Wars is dead. When they say something is dead, yes, they may mean the OG, sure, but you are still. We're talking about whatever, man. Actually, right now we're talking about a bit about the dead stuff. But you missed out, man. You missed out. Come on.
And well, so for example, for myself with Star Wars, like I've basically walked away. I don't watch any of the other shows. I don't watch any of the stuff that they're putting out because all that new stuff is effectively like it doesn't appeal to me. I'm not the target audience.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I going to watch something that I already assume I'm going to hate?
Yeah, I don't. When
I could, that's time I could spend watching other things. Like it's sort of like with, for example, in a similar way with comic books. I was hating what Marvel was putting out. Eventually, I walked away from Marvel as a company, and actually, now I've got a big old stack of books that I'm picking up from like other publishers. Here, let me grab this real quick.
Uh-oh, now he's getting his stuff out. Uh-oh. Oh, he hit something. Oh. Brown paper bag. That's a good comic. Ooh, what is it?
Oh, we got So I didn't get a chance to go last week, but I got a big old stack of comics that I picked up. And the thing is, like, I'm buying more books now than when I was just only reading Marvel, like, because I was just always just an X-Men guy, and that's something considering like Marvel was like known for like putting out tons and tons of books for these. Like, oh, we got to have like 5 different X-Men books. It's like, no. What else was there to read? How about a comic about the creature from the Black Lagoon?
Interesting. Well, I mean, that's like old monster stuff, though. Old monster.
Yeah. No, it absolutely is. Of course, something that's just been coming out. Gotcha, man. I just picked this up today.
Gotcha, but that's more Japanese, though.
Yes, but again, it's not Marvel. It's not DC. It's something I'm actually kind of looking forward to picking up and reading.
Hey, UB has a question before you get to you. UB has a question for you. You can see it on the screen, right? So
Rumble, I do have a Rumble. I haven't used it a ton because that extra step of having to then go in because I primarily use StreamYards. I have to then go into Rumble. I have to then go and shut off the stream afterwards. It was just an extra hurdle that makes me almost not want to use it.
So you're talking about the linkage part, linking from.
Yeah, that's been about the main problem I have with Rumble. But yeah, that aside, like when I do use it, it works totally fine.
Well, I mean, that's where Rumble Studios can step in if you ever want to try it out, because you can link to your other. I think right now you can do Rumble, YouTube, X, Facebook, Kick, I believe, was recently added. Twitch.
Oh.
Twitch is another one. Yes.
If I'll have to tinker with it more. And since I got the next couple days off, I might just do a random gaming stream and try out the Rumble Studio.
Yeah, if you ever, I can help you as best I can, but at the end of the day, I know there's some stuff like gamers will still have their issues on it because they want a whole bunch of stuff. They want the customability like OBS, but they've allowed you to use OBS with it. There's a way to do that. There's also like Streamlabs, I think they have. But Rumble Studios basically is once you've connected to your account, right? Whatever account you like, I do YouTube and Rumble. That's it. All you do is slide a slider over and you're done. And you get to see all your donations in the screen. You get to see all the chats on the screen, like you do see now, right? Like you see out to the right, all the chats. But again, he says, oh, there he is. He says, I do 7 so far. I might have to try Geek next. Hey, you know what? I know somebody who's done 8. I actually talked to someone recently who did 10 different places. 10. So you got to step up your game, UB. You got to step up your game. But again, where you my thing, right? My thing for content creation is, as a content creator, being on a single platform is no longer viable.
No, you have to spread out because at the end of the day, like if you can't put your eggs all in one basket because that basket might be controlled by a tyrant.
Twitch, YouTube, 2 great examples where we see. Well, Kick too. Kick is having its own issues. I got y'all. I remember. Yeah. Until you get to 10, I ain't listening. I ain't listening till you get to 10. Okay. But yes, Rumble Studios is free to use because StreamYard, right? You have to pay like, what was it, like $25 a month to use more than one link. And for me, it's just like, it wasn't really worth it because that's where I started. I recorded on StreamYards. I recorded videos on StreamYards because that's one of the things. Then I went to OBS because you download a multi-plugin to use OBS. And that worked for a while. But of course, I'd have to go to Rumble, show off, all this stuff. But now, with Rumble Studios, and I started out with the beta, all I have to do, I mean, of course, they had issues throughout. It's still building up. It's still getting more and stuff. And now you can do campaign ad reads. So if you get enough amount of people, you can do a campaign ad read and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, this just simplifies it. It does it. It streamlines it. And I don't have to pay $25 a month. I don't have to pay restream any money. I don't eat or any other one. It's free. Now you can get you can pay for a pro package, which gets the watermark removed and some other bonuses, but that's neither here nor there. Rumble Studios is free. Give it to anyone in chat who's watching that. Give it a test, give it a try, because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people who use StreamYards and Restream. And yes, they're going to have bits and instances here where there's some things on StreamYards that they can't do on. I have a question on Dara. What did you think about the new rule? I think it was great because they need to be do more in the politics, but it would have been nice if they had more unknowns in the ad. Because the cat, Lumpy, all this stuff, they're not unknowns. They're not unknowns on the Rumble gaming side. They need to have more unknowns. I have connected to so many people through gaming. I could have given them a list, and they could have asked me, and I could have given them a list of people on the gaming side that they could have had in that ad, because they need to show, right? They need to show a lot of unknowns. Yeah, you want people drawn in, sure, but you want to show that there are people just like you using Rumble.
What I think the secret is, it's, don't try to do what Mixer did, where you get like that one big fish, because that doesn't work. They're there just to watch that one guy. Oh. What you're better off doing is reaching out and maybe go get like 4, 5, 6 of these little guys, for like basically half the cost of getting the big fish in some exclusivity deal. And we'll get those guys going. Just kind of help them out. You can get a nice slow, steady growth of people in there, and then get in a little mix as well of like guys people doing just like everyday content, like hey, how do I fix this? How do I change out the spark plug in my '97 Honda?
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You got it. You got to have that mix of stuff. Yes, the current event stuff is fun. The live streams are fun, but at the end of the day, like for Rumble to really take off, they got to be able to be that sort of place to go for your household stuff. Like someone who needs to figure out like, how do I snake my toilet?
I thought you said stank your toilet. I was like, what?
Come on, you don't have vampire toilets where you're at? You gotta stake it. You gotta make sure.
No, I thought you said stank the toilet. I was like, what the? You meant snake the toilet. I thought you meant stank the toilet. It's STANK. That's what I meant. Stank the toilet. You gotta stank that toilet. He said there. That's great. Where was that? Oh, sorry. That's great. Next. Yeah, that's great that they're doing that. But the one part you're talking about, IronCaster, is that they're still working on their recommendation engine, which is the issue right now. So they have that going. They're testing it while we're doing all this stuff on Rumble, and it works to some degree. Right now, you'll see like at the end of your stream, end of the video, you'll see like recommended stuff. So there is to a degree working. It's got to continue to build. Look, that's why YouTube is so great, right? Because they have the recommendation and all this other stuff for the people follow. Now, it doesn't work when you follow too many people, but if you have a certain amount, it can work well. Or it can recommend you new people, which is also another thing. But at the end of the day, that's what they still have to work on, is their recommendation engine. And they still have a bunch of other things too. We can get in that. And they might do podcasts. Look, they need to do all. Politics is great. Politics is what started this place, but they need to be beyond politics. I'm sorry to tell you. My issue is that shouldn't be the reliability. We shouldn't rely on YouTube failing, because YouTube has, what does it have, kids? Google. That's right. It has Google. And Google has nigh infinite.
I'll fully say, like, look, I have an interest in Rumble succeeding because I did go out and buy stock. So I have that little piece of Rumble. So I do want to see them do well.
Same. My thing is, I've stated this in the post before. I've stated it many times after. I will praise Rumble when it does well, because it's earned it. But I will admonish Rumble when it does poorly. Now, poorly is subjective to the person at hand, right? Like they could do this or that. So one of the things they did poorly, but they are getting better over time with, was creator payout. Creator payout was such a disaster. It still is to some degree.
You gotta smack them on the nose.
But the thing of it is too is like they don't have, was it like thousands of employees working for them like YouTube does. They have hundreds, which isn't enough. And they're still at that small gate. And of course we saw when the debate happened, right? The Trump Joe Biden debate. They had that glitch thing happen, and things went down. So that's another part they have to work on too, is like on YouTube, sometimes, yes, it can be noticeable, but it's very small. It's very minute. And Rumble has to build to that.
Oh, see, I had no idea about anything like that happened, because like, I think I turned on the debate for like 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. I got in an argument with a family member, and then I just went off and watched anime.
Yeah, might as well, right? But at the end of the day, again, like with the stock, right? I invest in Rumble because I believe in its possible future. I see it. That's why I support more creators on Rumble than anywhere else, because I can't do very much with super chats on YouTube. Why? Because they are character limited to the amount you give. Rumble, between 1 and 500, same character limit. And that's 200 characters. Yeah, well, you were going to say something. Sorry.
No, I was sorry. I had to respond to a tweet here real quick.
But anyway, no, yes, SC Media, yes, because again, YouTube started in 2005. Let's just get the dates out of the way. YouTube started in 2005. Rumble bought it in either 2006 or 2007. Now, again, YouTube was started by like 2 college guys, or 3.
Yep.
2 to 3 college guys, and then Google bought them out for like $1 billion something. But at the end of it, it wasn't that great. It was still unpolished, and over time. So you have from 2005 to 2013. That's a 8-year difference. 2013 is when Rumble started, and it wasn't that great at the beginning either. So you have an 8-year difference right there. And you have Google resources, which is not infinite. Then you have maybe, what was it? You have maybe 6 to 7 years after the fact in 2013 of them building up to where when they got the infusion of money from going public, they started to update and all their stuff because it was still wacky and all this other stuff. So YouTube has had at least 16 to 17 years ahead of Rumble and any other platform. That's why they're still considered the king of platforms. And of course, Google, right? Because Google is YouTube and YouTube is Google and all those resources. So you have all this stuff. Right now, YouTube added like AI summaries to their chat. They added liking the super chat or whatever, all this stuff. So they are doing small improvements, but they're not really innovating as much anymore. However, people have been so used to what YouTube has that when they come over the Rumble, it's like, this is nothing. People have to understand Rumble has only been around for maybe seven plus years. YouTube, close to 17 to 8, well, 19 years total, almost 20 years, but we're talking like updating, building, and all that stuff.
It's been around long enough to graduate high school.
Yes, it has, and Rumble has not. But it will grow. Again, they're building their recommendation engine. They're getting creator payout better, and all this other stuff. Because again, Rumble still has an issue of being known for politics. I do not care. It doesn't matter. Yes, politics has its place, and you can see that on YouTube. Okay, even especially during election year. But the thing of it is you could be totally, what's the word? Blocked,
Totally
not
cleaved.
blocked off, cleaved. You could be cleaved from the politics stuff, and you could have all this other stuff recommended to you, and it has nothing to do with politics. And that's what Rumble needs. They need a DIY. They need the crafters, all this other stuff. On Fridays, right? Well, not this Friday, but on my Fridays when I do it, I do a pay it forward stream, and I go through the live stream category, the total live stream category, not the gaming or a separate thing. I go through the total live stream category on Rumble, and I go through like one per page, and I stop by, I say hello, I give sort of like some warm welcome and some Rumble rant, and I go to the next person because again, I pay it forward. I'm paying mostly out of my own pocket. I'm not making much out of this. I don't have like hundreds of dollars being donated to me. I'm not like Tim Pool. I'm not getting that kind of money.
That's how it goes. We all
Okay.
start down there. It's a slow process of like I'll slowly crawl my way up. Every sub, one after another.
Well, UB Legend, it's not just me. It's just they need to listen. Like again, Rumble. So they're Rumble's building an ecosystem, right? I'm not going to compare it to YouTube because it's too big. Again, that's Google. Rumble is building an ecosystem, right? So they have Rumble Video Player, Rumble Cloud, Rumble Studios, and some other pillar. Rumble Cloud just came out not too long ago. That's a benefit. Rumble Studios. The better it gets, the more golden goose it's going to be. Why? Because let's look at StreamYards, right? What is StreamYards' business? It's StreamYards. Do they have anything else of business matter? No. But Rumble does. StreamYards.
Right. Well,
Restream.
You got to remember it's important to expand out, but not necessarily expand out so much that you lose sight of what your primary business is.
Right. Well, the ecosystem supports itself. Like, look at Apple. Look at the ecosystem Apple has built. Now, whether you agree with it or not, whether you agree with Apple or not, it doesn't matter. YouTube has built its ecosystem that has still gone on, still supported it. You buy a song from one part. You say you buy a song off your MacBook Pro. You can have it on your phone. You can have it on your watch. You can have your iPad. You can have it on your Vision Pro because that came out not too long ago. The point of the matter is that Apple built an ecosystem that's a smooth transition throughout. If Rumble can take a page from Apple, because that's why why is Apple successful? Well, part of it is also Steve Jobs too, but we're not there. Take a page from Apple, build your ecosystem, make it smooth, make the I'm shifting from one gear to the next. It's not working. Transition smooth.
You might want to check the transmission there.
Make the transition smooth throughout your whole ecosystem, and I can guarantee you that you'll last. Right now, people can complain, oh, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, it doesn't have the YouTube stuff, right? Okay, I understand that. YouTube is Rumble is building its own thing different from YouTube. Is it borrowing some stuff that's already out there? Sure. And I should take
that's the thing though. You take from the best.
Yes.
If someone has a good idea, you take it and use it.
Yes, because what does YouTube have? Live streams, pre-recorded stuff, shorts. If Rumble can have a balance to some degree of that, because I post shorts on here, but there's no dedication or the recommendation is not putting out. They have live streams. Pre-recorded stuff is in the same way as shorts. At the end of the day, once the recommendation transition, yeah, okay, yeah, har, yeah, funny. You're so funny. I see. Yeah. If Rumble builds a phone, look, I don't care about a phone. I don't care about all stuff. It just needs to build its ecosystem. Its ecosystem is important.
Well, the only issue there is they got to make sure they can get those couple of things down really good that they do.
Yes.
And you don't want to go and have like 17 products that work just kind of okay.
Mm-mm.
You don't want to be the generic store brand.
No, because that's what separates Apple too, right? Like, I mean, yes, you could look at Nintendo and see all the way behind of like the Switch and stuff, but they made it innovative, right? When the first iPhone came out in 2007, and Steve Jobs did his whole thing, right? It combined combined the internet, it combined calling, and it combined some other thing. Rumble has that opportunity to build its system, its ecosystem, because the ecosystem feeds into itself, right? You need a ecosystem that not only will in the financial aspect, but it'll also be in the system aspect. And yes, they're still in the early days. Understandable. There's going to be frustration. Great. Again, that's where I say praise it when it does well, admonish it when it doesn't, because I'm not going to kiss up to Rumble. All right, there's some people who do, because of their favoritism and whatnot. I'm not going to kiss up to Rumble. Why? Because Rumble is no different than any other platform out there. It is vying for your space, your time, your attention, your money, all the stuff. Same with Twitch, Kick, YouTube, all these other ones. But guess what it has an opportunity to do? To build an ecosystem that works well in itself. And if they do it right, that will become the biggest golden egg I have ever seen. Maybe it could rival YouTube. I don't know. But that's the difference between Google and Rumble. which is a little big. So I don't know what to tell people, but all I know is that I do know some people have passed up Rumble for one reason or another, or they don't know about it. My thing is, give it a try. It doesn't cost you anything. And I know some people say, but I don't have the same amount of money come up from here, like, or whatever. And I'm like, why did you create content in the first place? Did you create it for money? Or did you create it because you saw something you wanted to do? You saw another content creator. What are you creating content for? Is it money or to create?
Yeah,
money's
it's worth trying new technology out, because hey, sometimes you might find something that just works better.
That's why I think Rumble Studios will be the golden goose that Rumble has, and StreamYards and Restream. Their only business is one thing, while Rumble Studios is part of that ecosystem that Rumble has. And that's where other places could get into trouble, and they'll have to build something else out. But then again, that's competition. That's to progress and grow. Again, I'm not perfect. I don't know technology. I'm not that great, but at the end of the day, I will at least give on what I see from my perspective, and you can do what's well. It's that easy. But I'll continue to support content creators through Rumble more because they get more of a cut to the rants. They monthly subs, the little monthly sub red castle thing you get all of that monthly sub, at least for right now. It may change in the future, who knows. And of course, Rumble Studios doing the ad read stuff. They've added that not too long ago. Who's doing that? Where's Twitch on the ad reads? Where's Kick on the ad reads? Where are the other stories of the other platforms doing it? What YouTube? Why don't they do ad reads for this stuff?
And yeah, that's sort of the thing, though. They have the potential to replace cable. Like,
well, YouTube is replaced cable to some degree, but yeah.
Yes, but I mean, like, in terms of like the advertisers.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, if you could get YouTube to start going to like Toyota, to go to Pizza Hut, to go to Coca-Cola, and say like, look, we want to work with you. Like, look, at the end of the day, cable's dying. Why don't go putting your advertising money into the TV that's nobody's watching in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
That's why no one's watching CNN.
Well,
so come over here and hey, we'll get you on a couple of medium-sized channels, like, and then rather than spending having this $50,000-$100,000 ad campaign, come do it with us for like half the cost. We'll turn around, we'll put like $2-3 in the pocket of a streamer just to say like just to read out an ad from Coca-Cola.
Yeah, and of course, right now they don't have those kind of businesses running through. They're not, because they have it's the rack. The rack is where they do the whole thing. It'll take time, but at the end of the day, I don't invest in it because I want YouTube. I want to see Rumble become its own thing, build its own ecosystem, and succeed. I see the possibility of its future, and it's still looking bright. Could it fail before then? Sure. Anything can fail. The power could be taken out of the United States, and we're all screwed, right? Anything can happen between now and infinity. But yes, and it's a great opportunity for people like you or whatever. Because again, the only thing about ad reads though is that it's a minimum viewership requirement. All you have, yes. So they will give you a list of ads, and they'll be from different places, but they will say at the bottom of it, before above the continue bar, will say minimum viewership. You have to be on that or above. Well, actually, you should be above it. You need to be above it before you can start reading the ad, and then you can do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, they are offering something that's not really being seen by other platforms, and that's going to be the kicker. Will it be a full success in the long run? I'm not sure. But as long as they're willing to keep updating, as long as they're willing to keep listening and all this other stuff, Rumble can have a future and succeeding. Not sure if anything I say will be of any use, but I certainly will be there to try to support as many creators as I can. And whether the creators I follow or new people are coming in to use the platform, I will do as much as I can through my pay it forward. And maybe one day, if I get to the point where I can give more money away, we'll see. Because I based my pay it forward off the Rumble raid that the CEO and Flawed TV did months ago, which was like $10,000. I ain't got that type of money. Okay, I don't got $10,000. But if I did, I'd have the opportunity to give not either more away to fewer people or a little less away, but to more people. And so there's that kind of equilibrium sort of thing. But that's what I want to end up doing is being able to give more away, because again, I'm supporting more people through this platform, which gives more and can do more for its creators.
So just to change gears a little bit, because we've been on the Rumble thing we're kind of spinning our tires here with the Rumble thing.
I am not either. I don't spin tires. I just turn my bike around. All right, go ahead.
Well, the 4th of July is upon us.
Tomorrow, yes.
Do you have any traditions you do? Is there any movies you go for? Because for myself, Well, it's a little combination of I've been watching Jaws, and
Mhm.
of course we gotta go back to Team America World Police.
Oh yeah, Team America. Jericho, F yeah. Da-da-da-da-da.
Motherfucking day here, America.
Yeah. No, my family owns my parents own a cottage near a lake, and I do that. I go up there. I live in Indiana, so it's up in Michigan. Not going to say where, and I go
Oh,
there and I spend
Probably up
time.
in my neck of the woods.
And I go up there and I spend time with them. And of course, I'm not. I work Monday, so I'm not going to stay the whole. I only have like a few days, but that's what I do. Movie wise, I really when I've been creating, I do watch movies sometimes, but because of the creating content factor, it's either something watching on either Rumble or YouTube, or I'm not
Or it's
doing
got to be
anything.
for a show.
Or it's a show. And that's the funny thing too, is like I used to do gaming stuff, at least trying to figure out what I was going for. And now I barely play any games. And I've gotten back into playing Elden Ring, even though I still hate it because it's just like ah. But I enjoy
Oh,
it.
it hurts so good.
Yeah, it's sort of like I really want to be strong enough where I can do at least sort of close to one hit kills, but it's just like I gotta do all this stuff. I'm like, why? Why? Because I can't do the new DLC because I haven't even gotten through the game. That's how bad it is. I'm trying to farm for levels. I haven't gotten through the game yet.
So I've had a little problem right now for as of late. Like my graphics card, like the game was always kind of lagging and slow. I'm like, I can't run it as it is. So I gotta turn around and I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and now that I've got my new card, I'm gonna go reinstall it. I'm gonna finally give this game a shot so I can like finally like tell the guys like, hey, guys, I finally played it.
Yeah, and how was it for you?
I gotta reinstall it. Like I put the new card in like yesterday. I haven't had a chance to even like properly play because streams have been kind of getting in the way and life happens.
Yeah, life happens. And of course I work full time too. But most years, as he says, most years I work, but I'm actually off tomorrow. Well, it's great. That's great. You're off tomorrow. I'm not a fireworks person because I'm not one for like super loud noises. Because those fireworks, man, they sound like a bomb's going off at a certain point, and they go late into the night too. And it's just like, please, just stop.
They're fun to watch, but when you have pets, the animals go crazy.
It's thunder. It's like very loud thunder. But then there's like those fireworks that sound like an atomic bomb just blew up, and you're like, oh, okay, so we're gonna die today. But the thing of it is that I think it's kind of. I mean, I understand there's some people who have to work because all utilities stuff that doesn't shut down when it's a holiday, so you have that stuff. But it's kind of sad when you have people who can't, or hospitals. But it's sad when you can't have people at least be able to take the day and enjoy it because the holidays, man, you either work to live or live to work. And it's sad when that's that sort of thing. So, yeah,
fun, but it's fun. At work, it pays the bills, but look, if I wouldn't know what I'd be doing otherwise, probably just sitting here doing nothing, maybe trying to argue on the internet.
Oh, that's the worst. I've seen too many of the arguments on the internet, and I try to stay away from it because it's pointless anger. That's all it is. It's pointless anger. But yeah, like I said, I don't play games very much anymore. I don't watch. Well, I go to movies, like movies, right? Like a movie theater. Like I do go to movie theater. Okay.
You're right.
No, I burped, so I just stuffed me. EMS, we made doughs, but we never closed. Yeah. All right. Just don't hit anybody when you fall asleep, okay? That's the worst. You have somebody in the back already hurt, and you hit somebody else, and like, ooh, that's a double.
But hey, on the plus side, he'll be the first to respond to the accident.
And the witness.
like, no, officer, like, no, it's totally him. He was at fault. Like, he shouldn't have backed up into the ambulance on the expressway.
Oh, this is gonna go down a dark road. But no, I can't even watching other content creators. Like, I do follow a lot of people who create content, but at the end of the day, it's like I can't watch very much because I'm creating my own stuff. I'm busy with work. I'm doing the small stuff, like I make shorts from the streams, but I use a program to do that. I do Opus.pro, and that helps really well. I use Canva for making my thumbnails, like the thumbnail that's for us. I also use Claude.ai to kind of help proofread things or whatever. So I use these kind of programs to help my stuff because I don't have tons of money.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're so preoccupied trying to get out and try to keep creating, but you just have to kind of realize, like, there's only so many hours in the day that I can't. If I just sit here and I watch everything, I have no time for myself.
And it's kind of sad because you kind of partly rely on viewers as well. Because like I could have 300 following me, but I could have barely 10% of that watching. So, and 10% is, if you don't know what 10% of 300 is, it's actually 30. So just to help with that kind of, it's easy to do 10% anyway. If you do like 19%, I'm done.
I talk about big robots, and that doesn't mean I know a thing about math.
Yeah, well, and that's the sad thing too, because like in Japan, they took down that Gundam thing that was there for years.
So from what I was hearing, they're going to put another one up.
Oh, interesting.
It's one of those things where I think what my understanding was, it was never intended to be a permanent fixture. This is one of those things they do because there've been other moving Gundam statues that have gone up.
Oh, okay.
They didn't necessarily walk
like that one did, because it did kind of walk.
Yeah, but really, it's just the majority of it is like it has a whole fixture that's holding it up, and the legs are just kind of moving to look like it's walking. But anyway, there's another one going up, so it's not gone forever.
But I mean, that was pretty cool that they did that, because it's sort of like, of course, they had their store right down there. We could buy Gunpla, because there's Gunpla is like a huge thing. I go to a store, like the only place I can go to is like a Barnes and Nobles, and they barely have anything for Gunpla. And I'm like, it's the only place I can go for.
Come on, where's all the fun ones? Like, where can I get like little cute, sexy anime demon girls?
Those are on the sites that are for adults.
Come on, like I can't go get my little Kotobukuya.
I don't know where that's from.
Well, I mean, that's the company that makes it.
Oh no, I thought it was
many.
Oh, I thought you meant that was from like an anime or something. I was like, I've never heard of that one.
Nope. No. It's literally just like, oh wait, no, it's the 30-minute missions, 30-minute sisters. Bandai puts it out.
Oh, Bandai's known for.
Because hey, they already make Gundams, so they know how to make the tools. They figured, well, we kind of have the robot thing knocked down, but look, there's people over here making these anime girls. Like, we do anime. Let's make an anime girl.
Well, that's the thing that sells. So, like, you aren't, the Stellar Blade. Look at Stellar Blade. Now that's Korean, so that's totally different. But the only issue is that they didn't put it on PC. They did an exclusive, which kind of string-handed them. But
give it time, and that'll wind up coming off of it, because we're basically seeing with the gaming that everyone is realizing and concluding that exclusivity just does not cover it, unless you're Nintendo, because Nintendo apparently knows where their bread is buttered.
Yeah, well, that's the same with but the thing, for me, it's just, like it's like with the Final Fantasy VII, was it Rebirth
remake?
No, not the other one. I think it was Rebirth.
The sequel, the remake sequel.
The sequel, right? And that was PS5 exclusive. I'm like, why? You have more reach through PC with like Steam. You have more reach than you do have for consoles. Just make it open to those two sections, or
Well,
three,
the
whatever.
thing with that though was I think Sony in part paid for some element of exclusivity
Exclusive,
on it.
yes, this is the exclusivity part. That's the same with the God of War, Ragnarok. They paid for exclusivity, which I get, right? Because they need huge capital. But at the end of the day, though, if you have not seen Five Nights at Freddy's, let's just take Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Started out
Huge.
indie game, one person did it. Guess what? It got so big, it got its own movie, which was really successful because this is Bloomhouse and all stuff. It was successful enough. It made its money back double.
Well, yeah. Well, it turns out when you have like a shoestring budget, you have a wide release with as
Yeah.
wide an appeal as possible. Like you basically had the movie already paid for before it even hits theaters.
Well, they did have it paid. It was already paid for because of Peacock. Peacock paid for amount, and then
Right. Well,
the movies.
again, that was their distribution method model.
Yeah. But again, you take something like, and not everyone's going to be successful on an indie level, but you take something like Scott Cawthon's Five Nights at Freddy's, and of course he put in the work for it, so he deserved all that success. But again, you have people who make indie stuff, and some of it becomes really well known. What was it? Was it Fog of Rain, Rust of Rain, or something like that? You had that. You've had a bunch of simulator games that weren't AAA. You've had all these different games that were created by an indie developer. Sometimes only as a small group, sometimes just by one person. And if these AA companies can't work on a small group to make their stuff, then they are going to lose. They are going to lose because, again, you're going to have AI come out, and AI to some degree can help code. And guess what? That's going to be used to help code. They're going to use it regardless because, money and stuff, right? They're going to try to whatever.
Well,
But
I mean, the thing is, they are these just big corporations that have just gotten it. Just that problem is they've just grown so big, so large
yes.
that basically the industry is pushing these major studios into that AAA, quadruple A
Mm-hmm.
realm,
Yeah.
where basically you have budgets the size of like small nations' entire GDPs. Like,
How
let's
much?
see, we can either make a bad Ubisoft game, or we can fund Zimbabwe.
So we have Germany. We have a big hundreds millions of dollars, yeah. And you are a Korean company who making a game called Stellar Blade. Yeah, you need a lot of money to do that, but they don't really need to because again, you have thing like UE5. Did no one see the demonstration of UE5? That's pretty effing insane.
Well, you look at sort of with where a lot of those smaller developers are, and then you look at the advancements of technology, and it's like really these consoles are sort of getting to that upper end of like where you're really seeing all the growth and development. Like the only things they can really brag about, like PlayStation is bragging about like the face hair on Aloy. Like,
Yeah.
these little super minor details that you're never going to notice when your character is running around in like, crouching, doing that little crouching stealth open world exploration that they do in every one of their games.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
details you're never going to see that you're bragging about.
right, but there's also the what is it? The graphical use, right? Like it takes up so much graphical power, whatever. But I mean, you have something like UE5 where they're trying to tackle not only that, but just all this other stuff. Like it is inexplicably explicable that the more time goes on and the better the technology gets, the more we're holding on to these AAAs. Okay, sure, Nintendo has this stuff. That's great, whatever. But at the end of the day, though, we personally can't upgrade a console. Maybe to a small degree, very small degree. But a PC is going to be the bigger chunk of it. And the only people who are going to hold on to a console are for exclusivities, which is
gone. Like,
yeah.
they're all again, Nintendo aside, they're Microsoft and Xbox, Microsoft and PlayStation are just third-party developers.
Mhm.
All their games will eventually come to PC, and even then, you can just pirate Nintendo stuff easily enough. Not that I recommend people doing it, but
Yeah.
it's basically you have the access to everything. And really, if there is going to be any console, it's really just you're gonna have your PC. Maybe you'll buy a Nintendo for their exclusives.
Yeah, and for right now, it things are going to be as they are. But at the end of the day, though, I believe that we're going to see a point where AAA or Quad A or whatever, they're going to lose out because
Well, we're already there. Look
Well,
at Skull and Bone.
we are starting to get there, but they will eventually the water will run dry in their wells, and they won't be able to keep producing what they do. The money will be too big. The groups will be too big, and they'll either have to shrink or leave. Like they'll have to do like a whole Elon Musk Twitter X cut or whatever, and just yeah, if that makes sense.
Well, really, what we're seeing though is studios left and right getting shut down. They're downsizing. It's already upon us. Like this is a video game crash.
Well, part of it is because of the SBI stuff.
Well, yes, but again, that's a self-inflicted wound that they've done to themselves.
Yeah, that's true. But it's also part of it is because they try to be these big things with a lot of people working in their organizations. So, like, you guys do know that there's technology out there now that a indie creator can create pretty good games with little to no help at all. Well, other people, right? Because there's people who've built like small groups. Like was it Supergiant Games that built Hades, and I can't remember the other games they did. But they're a small company. They're not like extremely huge, but you kind of just it's the way it's coming to. And yes, they are on the track there, but they're still at a point where they're still going to do the whole exclusivity thing and all that stuff, and they're just gonna cut off their own hand and say, hey, it was worth it. And it's like, no, it's not going to work out so well. But anyway, it is the top of the hour, and we're gonna so look at this. We've gone 2 hours talking about whatever. I did have a bathroom break, but I'm human. But anyway, guys, so we're gonna cut it off there because I've got to get stuff ready for tomorrow because I do leave in the morning to go to the cabin thing, and also because I've got stuff I have to set up schedule for this weekend. So what?
I need to go stretch.
Yeah, and I try not to do this too long, but sometimes the conversation is so good you don't want to interrupt it. You want to keep the flow going, but
that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, but neither near here. So go before we leave, right? There's gonna be a few things, but go ahead and promote yourself first. I'll do my thing, and then we'll go from there.
Hello, folks. This is IronCaster. You can find me all over the internet. Follow me on Twitter at the IronCaster, where I'll be sure to try to make sure I at least post and keep people informed about where I'm at. Mm-hmm. I like to talk about big robots. I like Transformers. I like old movies. I like a lot of things, and yeah. I like old comic books. I want to talk about Space Ghost at some point.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to kind of get around and talk about some fun stuff. Yeah, come check me out on Monday nights on my channel. Monday nights on YouTube at IronCaster, youtube.com/IronCaster, where we will be talking about some more of this stuff. Check me out over with Pops and Stone Loki for Talk Hard, where I think here in the next week we're covering either Jaws or War of the Gargantuans.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and again, his stuff is down in the description below, so don't give him a look, see if he's worth a follow, and go from there. Because I tell you what, he may or may not be, but that's for you to decide. But anyway, going on to my stuff and. Excuse me. Anyway, so I streamed both YouTube and Rumble at Daramouthe. I was a burp coming up. I have a It's like I have a Discord at Oh gosh, dang it. Anyway, I have a Discord at Daramouthe, but it's mostly for DMing. I have a fan account on Twitter X. I forgot to explain that. I will after this. At Daramouthe. And I also have an email. Look, down in the description, there's a link tree. Follow that. You'll see all my links down of where to go down below. If you want to come on, if you want to take the opportunity that IronCaster has, that Mike Mullis has, that Geek Storian has, that Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge has, that Nick Weiser next week is going to do, and so many other people, either go to those links, follow those links, and find me there, or leave a comment on either YouTube or Rumble, and we can get started. It's just that simple, just that easy. Look, guys, I'm not here for arguments. I'm not here for debates. I'm not here for trolls who are just this negative crap. I'm here for having a conversation, and you just saw 2 hours of it flow like a river. Not diarrhea, that's a little different. But you saw it flow like a river, and we enjoyed ourselves. So, yeah, I don't want to... I'm sorry I mentioned that. But anyway, guys, link tree down below. Go to the links or leave a comment on YouTube or Rumble, and we can get started. Now, the secondary part, right, because I have to do 2 parts. You've heard fellow YouTubers say, share, like, and subscribe. That's the mantra to get them to follow or whatever to have them grow exponentially. But I'm going to give you a reason of why I'm not going to say that exactly, but why I'm giving my own thing. So I need help with my engagement, right? Not the fun stuff to keep hearing time and time again from creator. But if you're a creator, you understand all this stuff. So here's why I'm doing it, right? Is because it gives me more opportunity to have more different people on. IronCaster came through Katie Flip City. Or Christy. Right, Christy? Christy came through, I think, Jack Tarlad. And Jack Tarlad was just someone I met from Twitter X. So there's this line of people, right? This line you could follow. Person after person after person. Now, I still go out there on Twitter X or wherever I can, and I ask, will you like to come on? Not easy, because sometimes they'll answer, sometimes they won't answer, and sometimes they'll answer, but you'll never hear from them again. Or if something happens or whatever. And also people can overlook me because I don't have the numbers, I don't have this, I don't have that, all that stuff. So whether it's a like, whether it's a follow, whether it's a comment, or whether it's sharing either the shorts or live streams, doesn't matter. Shorts are probably easier, so just shorter. One of it or all of it, it does not matter. Anything you do helps, because I'm looking forward not only to filling out another month. July only has a few days left to fill, but I'm also looking forward to filling out August, September, October, November, December, till the end of the year. I'm going to fill with people on the weekdays and just one after the other, because there's so many people out there, so many different perspectives, and so many conversations waiting to happen about whatever. And you just saw 2 hours of that with IronCaster. So, like, follow, comment, or share. One of it, all of it, doesn't matter. Whatever you do, in whatever way, helps. And I appreciate you all. IronCaster, I thank you for being on here. And if one more thing before we go. One more thing. I'm going to do a Steve Jobs. One more thing. Right? I have a game, sort of game. It's called Questions from a Hat. Now, where my schedule is. Oh, looking forward to it. All right, thank you. It's a combination between, if you ever heard of James Lipton, the actor studio.
Oh yeah.
Right? So at the end of every time he'd have a person on, you'd ask these same sort of questions throughout. Now I do have some of those questions in here, not all of them, but some of them. And another thing I'm inspired by is Scenes from a Hat. Whose line is it anyway? Scenes from a Hat. And that's just a ball of laughs. So I combined those two, and I said I bought a hat from Rumble. Obviously, you can see here.
Hey.
I crumpled up a bunch of different questions. Now, some you could put in if you want, or look, chat and put one in. It has to be a question anyone can answer. It can't be like, well, can Tom answer this? Can Chrissy answer? No, you put something that anyone can answer, like your favorite color. And
they might not get those questions. Someone else might.
Yes. The thing of it is, though, so the guest gets 2 freebies, right? That's you. You get 2 freebies. And if chat wants another one pulled out, that's where ranting comes in. So it could be $1. It could be whatever amount, as long as it's the rant. So if you want another one beyond the 2, give a rant. We can continue on from there. So I'm not looking. The hat is here. I'm not looking. I'm looking of what question will come out of it. I don't know. Okay. Got one. Here it is. Right here.
Okay.
Let me open it up.
Drum roll, please.
Nah, I can't do that. Okay. So here's one. If you could have any superpower, what would it be, and how would you use it?
This is one I've thought about quite a bit. I think the thing is, super speed seems like an easy one to say, but really, you're walking. You have to walk the entire wherever you go.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure. For everyone else, it might seem like a blink of an eye, but no, you gotta walk to Chile. No, you literally have to walk. That said, though, let's go ahead with it. If I had super speed,
Mhm.
I would go into like every convenience store and I would take all the pennies out of the take a penny, leave a penny.
Such a
It's not illegal, and they literally have them there for you to take.
It's
It's
such a-
genius.
It's so genius. It's so dumb. It's genius. Where'd all the pennies go? What the? I was just supposed to take one. What?
Oh, I guess I'll put a couple more pennies out, whatever. And then like what's gonna happen? Anyone who uses cash might oh, here's 6 cents back. They might take the nickel and leave the penny. Nobody cares about the penny. Oh, give me your pennies. Give them to me.
All right, I've got another one. All right, it's number one. All right, got number two. I'm shuffling the hat. I don't see what's in the hat. Oh, it's not gonna matter. Let's see that. I am picking. Okay, I got one. All right. It may look like the same kind of color, but it's not the same one. Okay, there we go. All right, let's open it up. Let us open the flower of the paper. What is it? What is? Oh, here we go.
It's a flower.
The question is, what's the most absurd thing you believed as a child?
I remember thinking when I was like in the first grade that paper wasn't made from trees. I don't know what I thought what it was made of, but I was like, it's not made from trees. No, you can't turn that into paper.
What's paper? What are paper made from? Trees. It's all a lie. It's all a lie.
I probably like ran off and cried or something because you're 6.
Yeah, I can't believe it. You say the most unintelligible words like I can't, honey. I can't.
I'm good enough at that. I could do an Adam Sandler bitch.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. I was like, that's what half his act is like. Go back, watch this. Like as funny as it is, it's like it also goes into the nonsense voice. It's like, "Hey, how about you?"
Oh God, oh goodness. But anyway, since I have enough, since you don't know the ad reads, I'm gonna do one to show you what they're like. Okay, I have enough people, so stay people, so I can do this. All right, doing an ad read.
Oh, wait, there's more.
Yes, and wait, there's more. Last thing. All right. Yeah, it'll be on the right. Accept. Thank you. All right, everyone, if you wouldn't mind, if you haven't already, make sure to download the Rumble app. Once you download it, search for Daramouthe or at Daramouthe, ADRA, right here. Look, that's how you spell it. Daramouthe on Rumble. Search for my channel and follow the channel directly in the app. This will make sure that you get a notification every time I go live. Click the link in the description or pinned live chat to download the Rumble app on your phone. It's free. If you prefer to watch on the big screen, it's also available for Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, Roku, LG, Samsung TV. All you need to do is search for Rumble on those spaces. Again, iOS, Android, look for Rumble, download the app, search for me at Daramouthe on there. Follow me on there. Help me out. All right, guys? And either do the QR code or the link down below or in the pin chat, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. Go find the Rumble app there. Thank you guys so much. But that's what the ad read is, basically. You just have to have enough to do it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by tonight because I wanted to show a little of that to the IronCaster, the IC. But anyway, guys, that is it. Of course, there will be no streaming for the rest of the week, but on Sunday I will put up next week's schedule, and of course, again, Nick Weiser will be on next week, and you'll find out the day for that too. Oh, hold on.
Be sure to ask him about the authentic Detroit or the authentic Chicago deep dish pizza. He loves that. And also while I actually tell you what, I'll tell you what to ask him about later.
Okay. Oh yeah, after. But anyway, guys,
It's a secret.
it's a secret. That's what they all say until you're like, what kind of secret? And then they say it was no secret. I was just wanting to sound like something interesting. It's like, God dang it. But anyway, guys, at the end of your stream, so you saw the beginning intro, right? That was by an artist by name Pogo, Pogo. You can find his stuff on YouTube. I probably should start linking to his channel in each of my streams, but I haven't. So anyway, guys, this one is called One Day With You by Pogo. I hope to see you next week starting Monday. Have a happy 4th, and please don't hold on to the firework. All right? Don't hold on to the firework. Don't be dumb. If nothing else, enjoy the barbecue. And again, IronCaster, you're always welcome back. Same with you, chat. That's up to you, though. But anyway, One Day With You by Pogo. Don't forget to mute yourself, by the way. One Day With You by Pogo. Have a great night, guys, and have a wonderful 4th of July, no matter where you are. Bye, guys.